Are you considering moving to the Woodlands, Texas? Maybe you've done some research online because you want to move to the Houston area and you want to live in one of the best communities there is. The Woodlands has been ranked one of the top neighborhoods to live in the US. On today's video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the Woodlands, Texas before you move here. We're going to talk about the community. We're going to talk about the schools. We're going to talk about the lifestyle and the jobs and everything that you get here living in the Woodlands, Texas. I live here, I work here, and I get to help families relocate to our community every single day. I'm excited to share our community with you, so let's jump in. The first thing that I want to talk about is the history and the location of the Woodlands. So the Woodlands is a super special 26,000 acre master plan community that's divided up into 9 villages. The original residents of the Woodlands moved here in 1974, and George Mitchell was the original developer that started the Woodlands Development Corporation. Since then, it's been sold to Howard Hughes, and they've done a really good job of keeping the Woodlands up to date and becoming a destination for where people want to live and work. Again, like I said, the Woodlands is broken up into 9 villages. It started in Grogan's Mill up against I-45 and moved west. So as you get further west, the villages get a little bit newer and they have a little bit different character to it. And we'll talk more about that later. And we've also made a full video about the 9 villages in the Woodlands. So where is the Woodlands located? Technically, we are a North Houston neighborhood in a suburb, and we're about 35 minutes from downtown, 30 minutes from the International Airport, and we're about 45 minutes from the Astros Stadium. And it's an easy location if you still have to commute down into Houston or you want to go into Houston for some nightlife or some fun restaurants. We've got great toll systems, or even I-45 will give you a good straight shot down into Houston. Another important fact about the Woodlands that you need to know is that we are actually not a city, but we are a township. So a township kind of in our community works that the Woodlands is basically run like a business. We have a board of directors, and that ultimately helps maintain the quality of life in our communities. Things are very efficient. We have park rangers and people that clean up and paint our streets really well. So it keeps, our property values high. We work very efficiently here, and it ultimately results in a higher quality of life for the residents. Whenever a lot of people think about the lifestyle of the Woodlands, this is exactly what they're talking about and thinking of here. We're in Market Street right now, which is a destination and kind of the crown jewel of the Woodlands. We're just across the street from the Woodlands Mall and the Waterway. We call this area Town Center. So here in Market Street, we're gonna see things like the Gucci store, Madewell, Lululemon, the Takova store, Warby Parker and Nike. There's fine dining restaurants like 60 Vines, Tommy Bahama, some cool sushi restaurants as well. This is a hub for shopping and dining on the weekends or even during the days. People are here. They're playing with their kids and their families in this beautiful green space. They decorate this space during Christmas for you to be able to do your shopping and come and hang out. This is kind of the center of, like I've said, the lifestyle of the Woodlands. We're at the front of the Woodlands. We're pretty close to 45, and you're about 5, 10, 15 minutes away from some of the other villages. Now, you don't have to come here to do all your shopping and dining. Oftentimes, next to your village, you've got your village shopping center, which we're gonna talk more about whenever we get to the real estate section. The parks and the green space in the Woodlands are a main attraction and one of the main reasons that people decide to move here. It's one of my favorite things about our community too. So in all of the Woodlands, there's over 7,600 acres of either parks, green space, or areas that will not be developed. They'll remain natural. There's over 140 parks in the Woodlands. Right now, this is North Shore Park. It's one of the more larger destination parks that we have. We actually have a whole video about my favorite parks here in the Woodlands, but then we've got lots of smaller parks. Maybe it's a little pond or a little play set or a little field near your home. So like I said, this is a destination park, but there are also a lot smaller ones that are gonna be right around the corner from your neighborhood. There's over 220 hike, bike, and walking trails in our community. It's a very active community too. So we have a marathon, half marathon. We have a huge triathlon called Ironman Texas. That's a big destination every single year. I personally am a runner and love how active our community is, and I've been able to meet a lot of cool people, families, and see the Woodlands because of the accessibility to our community through all the hike, bike, and walking trails. When people reach out to our real estate team, one of the #1 questions that they get are the schools. What are the schools in the Woodlands like? And to start, we need to talk about the governing body of the schools here. And so they're actually a part of what's called Conroe Independent School District. And there's lots of different high schools that are there that feed to Conroe or under Conroe Independent School District. But the two main high schools are the Woodlands High School and College Park. Now, depending on what village you live in and what neighborhood you live in is going to determine which specific high school you go to. So if that's important, we need to have that conversation and we can make sure that you're zoned to the right school. Both are amazing, both are top rated, and we're gonna have links down below to Conroe's website and to Niche Magazine where you can see those school ratings as well. An important thing to know about the schools here is that, the elementary and the intermediate school actually feed, and the junior high school feed to the high school. So neighborhoods really do matter, because it depends on which school you're going to be zoned to, right? Another thing that's unique to Texas, if you're moving from out of state, is the top 10% rule. So the Woodlands is a large school. There's lots of kids in your class. And if you get in the top 10%, ranked in the top 10%, you actually get automatic acceptance into the large state public colleges, University of Texas, Texas A&M, things like that, and it streamlines that process. I personally went to the Woodlands High School whenever I was in high school here in the Woodlands, and I loved my experience. I had lots of friends that go to college, that went to College Park, and clients that go there too. And so give us a call and we can talk more about those details and what might be the best fit for you. Additionally, there are great private schools here in the Woodlands if you want something religious or if you want, a specific style of education. We also have a full video about the schools here in the Woodlands. So as we go from one destination to the other while shooting this video, I did want to give you an inside look at what traveling through the Woodlands looks like. And so it is a lot of this. There's a lot of green space. There's a lot of trees that, border our roads, and that can be a negative that some of my clients talk about, or just an adjustment that they have to have whenever they move to our community, because it can be a little hard for them to navigate at first. They have to use Google Maps, or it takes them a little bit to get acclimatized to just this lifestyle of living in the woods. Oftentimes whenever clients watch these videos and then reach out to our team because they want to move here, I talk about a discovery trip. So people will often, book a flight here, book a hotel. I will actually schedule some showings on homes for us to look at in the community while you're here for that weekend. So we can see what $400, $700, or over $1 million looks like for your price point or the size, or the style that you want in a home. You hop in the car with me and we drive around, and I get to tell you about our community and point out things that maybe you didn't realize. So this is a lot of what we get here in the Woodlands as we go to and from town center to the actual neighborhoods where the people live. Speaking of neighborhoods, let's talk about that right now. Now we get to talk about my favorite topic, which is real estate here in the Woodlands. So the Woodlands has a variety of price points, and as we've mentioned, the 9 different villages. What's cool about the villages is that they're actually broken up in a way where you have a broad spectrum of price points in each village. So there's a variety of socioeconomical demographics in those. Probably homes in the Woodlands you're gonna find from $300,000 all the way up to over $2 million, and there are certain areas, the really luxury areas, where homes are $3, $4, $5 million, and maybe even more than that in some cases. If they're on the water, they have a special view of the golf course or something. But for the most part, the average house price in the Woodlands at the time of us making this video is about $550,000 to $600,000. That's gonna be about 4 bedrooms with an office, probably have a good sized backyard with a 2-car garage and possibly even a pool. Right, you're gonna be located close to your neighborhood shopping center where you're gonna find your grocery store, your bank, your dry cleaners, and some restaurants, right? You're gonna be close to your elementary school and the high school. The Woodlands is unique too because it's a little bit older, it's been around for a little bit longer of time than some of these newer construction communities, our tax rate is actually lower. So if you're moving to Texas, tax rates are gonna be a unique thing because we're a property tax state, we're not an income tax state. So in the Woodlands, I'd say the average property tax rate is about 2 to 2.1%, that's of your appraised value. It can be as low as 1.8 in certain areas, or up to 2.5 in the newer sections, right? And it just depends on where you're looking and what village you're in, the tax rate's gonna be there, right? One of my favorite things about the Woodlands is actually the lack of, we'll call it stimulation. So we have deed restrictions in our community to really preserve the nature feel. All of our power lines and internet lines and stuff like that, phone lines, are actually buried underground. So we don't have any power lines or phone lines in the Woodlands, right? There's no billboards or big bright lights and signs. There's actually restrictions on, if a neighborhood or a gas station or something is gonna advertise, or a little fast food restaurant, there's a size, height of how big that sign is. It's quite, there's quite a difference between driving in Houston and you've got all this stimulation of signs and billboards and things like that. And then you come into our community and it's kind of a breath of fresh air because there's not a lot of that. And you do really feel at home and that you're living amongst nature, right? The Woodlands was designed around the forest. A lot of new construction communities, they come in, they plow all the mature trees down, they put the streets, and you get a sapling and maybe something in your backyard, and you've got to wait 15 years before that's a real tree. Here in the Woodlands, George Mitchell wanted the homes to be built around nature. And you really do have that. In front of houses, you've got these big pine trees, and in people's backyards, there's lots of trees and in nature, right? Like we're seeing around us here. So we were designing and building homes around what keeps this place so special. Another important thing you need to know about the real estate in the Woodlands is that we are 100% built out community. So we started in 1974, we built up to about 2014, and there's really no new construction being built by production builders, right? Like in new sections and new communities. We are starting to see teardowns and rebuilds in parts of Grogan's Mill, and our team is actually an expert in that division because we actually help build some of those beautiful custom modern homes. If you're looking for a home in the Woodlands, it's more than likely going to be a resale house. And what we're seeing is that there's been a lot of renovations done on these properties. So either the previous owner or somebody's bought it and updated it to be modern on the inside, but the home is probably 20 to 30 years old. It's got really good bones in a really well-established neighborhood, but it is not just a brand new house. Or you may be able to buy a home that you really like its location and everything about it, but you want to do the updates yourself, and that's totally an option, and we can help you find that exact home. If you're thinking about moving to the Woodlands, you're also either getting relocated here or you're thinking about changing jobs, and the Woodlands is going to be a perfect place for that, right? We've got over 2,500 employers that have a variety of different industries that they employ, jobs in. Whether it's the medical business, we've got huge hospitals here in the Woodlands. The oil and gas industry is probably one of the largest. There's lots of entrepreneurs. We've even got tech companies that are moving here. As Texas becomes a destination for businesses to, headquarters out of or to work from, people are constantly moving here, and the Woodlands is on the top of the list for businesses to relocate to. Right? If you still work down in Houston, we've mentioned before that we're not that far a drive from down in Houston. My wife actually works in downtown Houston every day. She takes either the Hardy Toll Road, she can take the Park and Ride bus system. There's 3 different locations you can park at and take the bus into Houston if you need to. But you may also be working right here within our community. The average commute time for the Woodlands resident is about 12 minutes because of how many people live and work right here in our community. So if you're thinking about moving to the Woodlands, our team helps families relocate here each and every day. We would love to be your real estate resource of choice, answer any questions you may have, and assist you in that home buying process to make the Woodlands your next home. If you got value from this video, we'd love if you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any other videos that we post about our community. We appreciate your time and feel free to reach out to us. My contact information is going to be down below. You can personally get my cell phone number in the link in the description. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you on the next video.